Good day, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Fix It! Good day, everybody. So on the shower drain clearing, there were basic tools needed. Pretty much the only tools that really need to be here are these two. And then I make a tool out of these in order to hook the hair and the soap residue and get it out of the drain. So I'll go ahead and show you that first. All I basically do is take some standard baling wire. I think I paid like, I think this was like $1.50, probably about 25 years ago at Ace Hardware. So it works really well. But I just take like a 6 or 8 inch length. Use your diagonal cutters to cut off a piece. Take your standard pliers. And all you want to do is go in probably about a 1/4 inch to maybe 1/2 inch and just give it a 90-degree bend. Now what I'll often do is on the other side, I'll go ahead and actually put a loop in it. So if you look there, that's going to really grab anything that might be really stuck in there. This one is more for probing and getting in there and just kind of, if it's a big clump and you can stick it, you can usually pull it. And then the other item I have is just an old cloth that I use in the video to wrap the stem of the stopper in the drain so that I don't end up destroying or taking off the cheap chrome. Alright, so let's get started. So today I was doing my semi-annual bathroom cleaning. I know, pretty gross, but that's why we invented second guest bathrooms, or second bathrooms. So while I was cleaning, I noticed the drain wasn't draining like it should. So chances are I've got some hair and soap residue built up in that trap, or at least in the mechanics underneath this, the supports and such. Easy areas for hair and soap residue to get stuck and hang on and just build up over time. So to give you an example of how it's draining, I'll just do a couple seconds of water and then we'll see how it drains. And there it finished. So that's pretty poor. I didn't notice it when I take showers, but I use a low flow shower head, and I also do kind of like a Navy shower where water's on just long enough to get wet, shampoo, turn the water on just long enough to get rinsed. I'll go ahead and grab the tools and I'll go through a quick overview of how I clean my drain, and maybe it will help you if you have a similar issue. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Grab my tools. I prefer to use this veritable plier with an angled, but you can also use a standard, what I call a linesman plier, or a standard pliers. Now what you're going to do is basically grab onto this end here, and what I prefer to do is put a piece of cloth or a rag around it just to make sure that you don't end up marring the chrome, the fake chrome, and just turn it off. So lefty loosey, righty tighty, and it will just come right off. Oh, that really looks pretty gross in there. Grab my little waste container here. Okay, so now I've lost it, but I've got a piece of wire I made. There it is. So basically what I'll do is I'll take the piece of wire I made, and I'll show a video at the beginning also on how I made this. And it'll probably be better quality video because I'll use the GoPro instead of my camera. But basically just make the hooks, and then you want to just fish in there. Usually start up at the top and just start removing whatever kind of goodies you can find in there. And yeah, a lot of it looks like it's soap or conditioner. And if you're going to use a metal hook, I recommend that you just go slow. Most of these fittings underneath the plate here, even some of these plates are going to be plastic, chrome plated. And most of the drainage pipes are going to be PVC or plastic, not iron. So I don't know if you really could do much marring if you got aggressive with it, but just to be on the safe side, I always go a little cautiously, a little slow, and just take your time, and eventually you'll get it all out of there. This looks like it all got caught right around this first part of the fixture of this drain. So just beneath the stopper, the mechanics, or the piece of metal that holds the drain assembly together and the stopper shaft, looks like that's where most of this hair and conditioner and soap decided to cling onto. Okay. Now the nice thing about working on this as opposed to the toilet is this doesn't stink. Not that I'm going to get my nose right down in there, but I don't smell any sewer gases or anything, so the trap is doing its job. Looks like this small hook works better than the large one. That's a much better sounding drain. Still got some stragglers there, so let me work on those. And there it is. Much better. Doesn't look like I have any hair. Oh, there's a little bit. Personally, I always prefer this idea. I'd rather take a little extra time and make sure it's done right, rather than putting chemicals down my drain. Mostly, especially because I'm on a septic system. I'm not on city sewer, so I do have city water, but they haven't put city sewer in here yet. So let me go get the other camera to show a closer view, and then I'll be right back, and we'll continue on putting this back together. Okay, I'm back. One thing I like to do also is I use something called Super Lube. It's basically a synthetic grease. I use it on my firearms, and I also like to use it on my plumbing. It's basically just a nice clear synthetic grease. I just like to put that around the threads here, just to hope that it might help it in coming off next time, in case it is a metal reaction between the brass, which it looks like this inside insert is, and I'm sure this is probably not a brass insert, it's probably cheap. And then just thread it back on. Grab my cloth and plier and just give it a little snug. Look at that, no problem. So that was it. And like I said, I hope that this was informational to you and that it might help you if you have a similar issue and just wanted to know how it's done, or at least one way of doing it. So I appreciate your view, and go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe if you find this content interesting, and you never know what else I'm going to post. Have a good day. So in order to make the hook to get the gunk out of the drain, shit. Sorry about that, I got to restart because I didn't realize I had the radio on in the background and I'd probably get flagged from YouTube.